Hello young guys, you are welcome in this STOK biology classes organized by Jan Vikas Mahasabha Educational Wing and Society of Career Technology. We present the science behind science. In our regular classes, we study about science in a style like history and geography. Science means experimentation, its result and its interpretation. But unfortunately, less emphasis is given on this aspect. So today we will discuss about this topic, science behind science. So in this episode we will talk about certain experiments, certain scientific discoveries which gave a path to the science. When we talk about endocrines, in 1849, there was a scientist, A.H. Barthold, and he performed some experiments on male cockerel bird. Earlier, the notion was that testes and ovaries are concerned only for producing male and female gametes, sperms and ova. But H. Barthold thought that let us see whether it controls some other body characters also. So he surgically isolated, castrated the male cockerel bird and removed its testes. After 2-3 weeks of this removal, the male comb present above the head, it disappeared. In the second set of experiment, he took out the testes of another male cockerel bird, homogenized it, filled in an injection syringe and injected the first bird, and again after 2-3 weeks a comb developed. What does it mean? It means that testis and ovary is also concerned with development of male comb in male cockerel bird. Then in 1855, Thomas Edison removed adrenal gland of a dog and observed its effect on its physiology. Many deficiencies were observed and he termed it Addison's disease. For this thing, Addison is called father of endocrinology. In 1889, two very interesting experiments took place. One, two Russian scientists, von Mering and Minkowski, had a pet dog. The pet dog was suffering from stomach ache and loose motion since many days, and it was not being cured. Ultimately, they anesthetized that dog, and operated them. In that dog, the part of duodenum had developed an ulcer. So von Mering and Minkowski surgically isolated that duodenum and again stitched the stomach with the rest part of the small intestine. As it is the usual case that after any operation, the doctors used to observe the patient for some days, that whether it is working normally or not. They were also observing that dog. At a place where that dog was urinating every day, they observed there was certain white deposition on the land and a row of ant was visiting that. They took out that white deposition, filled it in a test tube and tested with Benedict's reagent and Fehling solution. A red colored precipitate was observed. So they came to know that that white deposition was glucose. How it happened? They realized that during removal of duodenum, the part of pancreas was also removed, and that pancreas had something in it which was responsible for regulation of blood glucose level, and due to absence of it, after removal of the pancreas, the glucose was passing out along with urine in that dog. In 1889, another scientist took another experiment. He was brown steckered. He was 70 years age old. At the time, about 100 and 150 years ago, most of the experiments of biology and medical science were done on dogs. So he took out the testes of a dog, homogenized in a mixie-like structure, and filled in a syringe. He took intramuscular injection of this dog testis extract himself. And interestingly, he felt an increased desire of sex. Although this experiment is not correct, because the hormones of testis, ovary, and adrenal, they are steroids, they are not water soluble. Even then, this experiment is a milestone. Then, Bayliss and in 1902, performed some very interesting experiments with dog. Earlier, the notion was that whenever food reaches the stomach, then only gastric juice is secreted. But they made a hypothesis to check this. They surgically cut the connection between esophagus and stomach and connected that esophagus with the neck part, so that whatever feed was given to that dog, that came out. And in the stomach, they connected a catheter, and catheter was connected with a test tube. So whatever juice, digestive juice was secreted in that stomach, that went out in that test tube, and that could be chemically analyzed. They fed the dog with food. The food came out along with this opening. Even then, gastric juice was secreted in the test tube. How does it happen? It means the reaching of food to stomach is not essential for secretion of gastric juice. Then how this message is being conveyed? Either it is through the blood vessel or through the vagus nerve. In the second experiment, they cut the vagus nerve also, again fed it with a dog feed, and again gastric juice was secreted. Then they cut the blood vessel again, and then after feeding, food came out. This time gastric juice was not secreted. So from this experiment, and in the second experiment, they cut the connection between stomach and intestine, took the catheter into intestine, and stomach was connected with the outer wall, so food came out from the stomach outside, and in the catheter connected with the small intestine, again intestinal juice was secreted, that was collected. And from this experiment, they discovered the first hormone, secretin, in 1902. So secretin is the first hormone discovered by Bayliss and Starling in 1902. So I feel that these things should be discussed by the teachers in their classes, but I'm sorry that in most of the classes, the teachers are concerned with just syllabus. They have to complete the syllabus and question and answer. So these things are not told. I feel that these things should be also told to the students. So thank you very much. In the part 2, we will again talk about certain other experiments by Edward Jenner on digestion and acetobularia. Thank you very much.